Yes. Well, then somewhere, Sebastian, who wants to start?
Okay, I guess I'll do it. Well, first off, thanks for organizing this, Catherine. This is much appreciated, and so it gives us the opportunity to discuss what we do, and indeed discuss what translation PMs look for in freelance partners, and maybe we could also discuss our plans for the future and just how MedPlanet works, generally speaking. Something I wanted to add before we start is we have, as a surprise participant today, is Mayu and Selm, who created MedPlanet back in 1997,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Oh,
And
wow, that's amazing.
here she is, so perhaps she could chime in as well. So my name is Samuel. I'm 40 years old. I followed a translation curriculum back in some French university in the north of France. Graduated in 2007 or 8, if I remember correctly. And then, sort of by default, I joined a market research agency as a translator initially, and then started doing everything that's required in a market research fieldwork agency, meaning recruitment, project management, and so on. Stayed there for about 7 years, and then became a freelance translator myself for about 7 years as well. Until I felt like I needed a new challenge, I joined MedPlanet, who had been a client for 4 years at the time. Worked as an analyst project manager for about a year. And then we merged with M3, were acquired by the M3 group early 2023, which is when we decided to create this translation department together with Mayu, who also has a translation background before market research, actually. And this is what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years, basically, adding new languages little by little, new capabilities. And here we are. And I'll hand it over to Sébastien now.
Thank you, Samuel, for this introduction.
Sure.
Let me unmute. Okay, thanks, Sam. So yeah, my journey is pretty similar to what Sam just mentioned, because I did a master's degree in translation, technical translation, in 2014, and I kind of came across the field of market research by chance. I took the opportunity to begin my career as part of as a translator initially as well, in a market research agency. And I was involved in all stages of the process. So like Sam said, recruitment, analysis, moderation, project management. So I stayed there for almost 10 years until 2024, where I joined MedPlanet as a translation PM. And it's been going great for almost a year and a half. So I'm very happy and relieved to have found such a job after being laid off for financial difficulties of the previous company. But yeah, everything turned out great, and I couldn't be happier to be with this great team. So yeah,
Awesome.
That's my background.
You feel that you guys like to work where you work. For those who don't know MedPlanet, or I work for them as a translator, and it's like, actually, it's one of the best teams I work with, because you just feel that everybody has energy, everybody likes what they are doing. It's a really nice, respectful, way of working with each other. So you're not just a number, and that's what I really highly appreciate. You're not just one of thousands in a database. At least it doesn't feel like that. So thank you guys for this, and also for the introduction. Did the founders of MedPlanet want to introduce themselves? Who are here? Hello.
Hello, hi. I wasn't planning to come, but since I saw that it was available in my schedule, I thought I would love to be there. So thank you very much, Catherine, for hosting this meeting. I'm Mayu and Sam. I've started this company market research agency in France a long time ago, way too long to say. And Sam and I, as he was explaining, started developing a translation unit, which we're hoping will keep growing. So it gives me the opportunity to thank the team and to congratulate them, because I'm extremely proud of what they're currently building. So that's all for me.
Awesome. That's sweet. All right. Did Leon join now? I will just check.
Yeah, I think he's having issues unlocking the
Yeah.
microphone permissions for some reason.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
know
trying
that.
out.
That happens sometimes. Well, maybe we just proceed with the first question. What exactly does MedPlanet work with? I guess people here don't really know that, because it's quite a niche, I believe. Who would like to answer that?
Can I take that one, Seb, or should I? I'm still on mute.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever you
Either way.
prefer.
Yeah, well, I can answer that one. Simple enough. I think I'll be qualified for this one at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do translate market research materials as part of the M3 market research group. What we get is qualitative discussion guides, screeners, which are those documents used to recruit respondents for interviews. We also translate quantitative survey questionnaires, which are the very long ones with the multi-answer options. Also, so-called stimuli. So those are shown to respondents. They can be product profiles, product descriptions, basically, but also more creative stuff such as positioning statements and so on. And all of these are in the realm of medical or pharmaceutical research.
Milo, did you want to say something?
No, sorry. I'm having issue with the microphone as well. Sorry.
All right, no worries. Yeah, right. But you don't just work with translation, do you? Do you also recruit the participants, or is that some part of your MedPlanet?
Right. Yeah. So since we created the translation department back in April 2023, about 2.5 years ago. The company sort of got split in two. So one part is dedicated to field work, particularly. So then that involves recruitment, moderation, working with simultaneous translators, and so on. Yeah, and then you've got the translation department that I've just described.
Yeah, I just saw that Leon is here. Hi, Leon. Awesome, that you made it. Thanks.
Sorry, I had some issues with my microphone, but now I'm here.
Me too. I had to restart too. No worries. We were just going through the introduction round. Maybe you would like to introduce yourself, what kind of position you hold on at MedPlanet.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here.
So my name's Leon. I'm a translation manager, project manager at MedPlanet, just as Seb is and Sam basically. And I joined the team 1.5 years ago. I used to be a freelance translator myself. I used to work in literary translation actually, and but the freelance life was bumpy, so I was actually very happy when Sam decided to take me on to the PM team, and now I'm here.
Right, awesome. So you worked as a freelance translator for MedPlanet, and then you got hooked.
No. I was a freelance translator working for actually for some Italian agencies, because I used to study linguistics in Italy. So that's where I took my first steps in translation and made my first network, so to say. And I didn't do translations for MedPlanet before I joined MedPlanet.
All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. I think we all have an idea what MedPlanet does. I know that you guys are extremely busy, so we will try to stick to our we planned. So yeah, what are you guys actually looking for when you are working with a translator? That's, I think, the most interesting question for most of us freelancers. Sébastien, maybe you want to answer first.
Yeah, sure. So that's a good question, which I understand you might be asking. Yeah, one of the big things is we're looking for partners that we appreciate working with, that we have a nice ongoing relationship with, and translator we feel can be flexible whenever is needed. They can maybe offer some weekend work at times, because as you know, some of our timelines can be pretty tight. But yeah, it's all about the human aspect and the willingness to the can-do attitude, basically, because yeah, requests can go from super easy to hyper challenging. So that's really what we're looking for. And obviously a willingness to always be open about potentially new services or potentially renegotiating some rates at any given time, at any given point in time. Yeah, I think from what I've said, you, Catherine, pretty much tick all the boxes.
Thank you. It's awesome. I do like working with you.
I might be forgetting a few things, but that's really the gist of it from where I'm standing.
Is there something you would like to add, Leon, or somewhere?
Sam, please go ahead.
Like Seb said, with translation quality as a given.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a question. If you have a translator who is always like a really flexible and is friendly, nice, ongoing, responsive, but the translation quality is like maybe 99% and not 100, what would you prefer? Like the other way around, 100%, but then you have to wait for answers maybe a little longer, or the deadlines won't hold? Or would you like overlook some of the mistakes that happen if the translator is a good partner itself?
I'm just going first here. I think I can talk for the three of us when I say that first of all, if it's 99%, that's still very, very good, because it's actually very hard to find people who can deliver 95% and above.
All right, okay.
You would be surprised how many vendors we have who we might not even be able to categorize as someone who delivers 95% quality and above, if we're going with the percentages. So just to mention that first, and then to get back to your question, I'd say quality always comes first. So if somebody is able to deliver 100% good quality all the time and is then super short answered, or not really social in the replies, or not really talkative, that comes second, I'd say. I guess Sam and Seb, you agree on that. But of course, it's always nice to have someone who is not very cold, or not very repellent in the replies. But at the end of the day, quality always comes first, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your lowest threshold? Where do you say, or let's put it, you have you mentioned that you have many translators or vendors who or not many, but what I understand, who don't reach the 95%. Where is your lowest bar to say, okay, we won't work with them anymore? And will you tell them before? Will you give them more chances to improve? How would you work with that?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how we define those 95%. We had people who delivered, or who had catastrophic deliveries. Actually, last Friday, obviously, I'm not gonna mention any name, but we had a vendor who delivered a file. It was actually a pretty big file. I think it was 8K words, and it was confirmed to only 79% or something on Trados. A lot of segments were unedited, even translation memory populated sentences segments were just not reviewed at all, and we could tell by the TCs, and the delivery came 4 hours late. We were not informed. There was no communication at all. We had to chase them, and the proofreader eventually told us that it took them as much time to revise and correct that work as if it was made from scratch, basically.
Yeah.
And this is obviously something where, yeah, the threshold is not even, it's not even surpassed, basically. It's all completely over the top. So we're just not gonna consider working with that person anymore.
Yeah.
And then in other cases, I think it's very, 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 very fair to say, yeah, of course you get a second chance. Or of course you had, I don't know, you had an accident, you had an incident, internet was not working, you had to deliver late, but you told us up front, of course we're gonna be the last to tell them no, that was your last chance or whatever. So it really, 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 really depends on what is actually happening.
Right. So you do get into communication processes, unless it's like this catastrophic, as you said. I mean, there was no communication from the other side as well. So I get that. May I ask, was that the first time you worked with that vendor?
No, we worked on smaller projects before.
Yeah. I mean,
so-
sometimes, stuff happens, and or we all have bad days or worse days or whatever. We are sick sometimes, and freelancers work anyway, usually. So that's why where my question is coming from. If you see, Catherine messed up like big times, are you going to tell me and say, hey, next time, please, better quality, or are you just
that's an
going to
interesting
ghost me?
question. That's an interesting question also, because sometimes it can be hard only through email communication to read between the lines and actually understand what was going on. But sometimes there's so much going on that you can kind of tell that something is off, or something you're not being told everything. And if it's so much coming together, like in the case I just talked about, you can be pretty certain that that something was not right, or somebody was just not, or was a little sloppy, or maybe even a little more than sloppy. So usually you can tell, and on the other side, you can also usually tell when stuff happens, as you said. Like, we had another vendor in Spain, the internet went off, but they were very communicative about it, so they couldn't deliver in time, but they made a counter offer and said, hey, we can do this and that, but it was all in time, so it was all manageable, even though it was some sort of extra work for us. But in that case, I fully believe them, because they were open about it, they were upfront about it, and at the end of the day, it's just that. And then I don't hold any grudge or whatever against them, because I feel there's a general feeling of trust, not as in the first case, not like in the first case.
Trust and respect, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to add one thing,
Yes.
just about what we're looking for in translators. It's something that, at least to me, but I think Sam and Leon and the rest of the team will agree, is that we absolutely need someone that's reliable in the sense that they need to be punctual and deliver on time every time, because we've had experiences with other translators. Sam and Leon, you might see who I'm referring to, a certain French vendor who always delivered on time, late. So personally, I stopped using her mostly because of that. Because on every project she would deliver, even if it's just by an hour or 30 minutes, it's just a matter of principle. If there's a deadline, you need to stick to it.
Yeah,
unless
definitely.
of course you tell us in advance and we can make plans around it. But that's an essential point to me.
Yeah, I get that. And then I think coming back to what Leon said, when there is, the energy went out or the internet breaks down or whatever, what I feel is like with all my clients, we're all in the same boat and we need to try out to solve problems. So one thing I would like with people I work with is that they are willing to solve problems also, that they're not just like, yeah, sorry, I don't have internet. Do what you want. But that you help, that you offer your help. However, if you guys like Leon, we had the situation, we both overlooked something, but then you have to try to make it right, to fix it and stuff like that. I would think that would be also quite important for a freelancer to be successful with their clients.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think this is what we've been trying to build the translation department upon it, and this is something that was already part of the MedPlanet DNA from the start. Is this collaborative approach, and I mean, there's only so much we can do by assigning blame and keeping things there. At some point, you need to find a solution to deliver, because that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
So collaboration comes first, communication, and just this is a word that I think is often a bit maybe underestimated these days. Is trying to keep things reasonable to an extent for all parties involved. Like has been said, difficulties, challenges can always come up, but it's all about trying to understand both sides and making sure that in the end we deliver quality on time to the client. That's all that really matters, really. And I think it should always work this way.
Yeah, right. That's what coming back to the beginning, what I said, what I like about working with a MedPlanet, what you feel is like there's a human connection to the people behind my email box. And you really, all of you transform that, like transport that. I never had anyone from MedPlanet I didn't like the answer or the way he's talking to me or she. So big thank you for that. Next question, specialization, certifications. How much of a difference does that make to you? Is that something you are like generally interested in? Do you need it for ISO certificates? Or if you hire a new vendor, how do you go with that?
That could play a role for ISO at some point, although we've had a few instances where a vendor had certain certifications or specializations or certain experiences that should have, pun intended, translated into great work, but it wasn't eventually the case. And either the translation test that we ask potential partners to take wasn't good enough or really far off, and or the first jobs we offered to those vendors weren't subpar, unfortunately. So that will play a role, and I think that will, let's say, support or encourage us to engage with that person and ask for more information. But the real output will matter most in the end.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, because that's what I see also. And also when I was nursing still, you had those nurse assistants, they had 1 year apprenticeship or like studies. They were sometimes better than those ones who had like 3 or 5 years with like, special qualifications, because they often just weren't like really warm and human. They just thought, yeah, I'm a nurse and then I can do it better. But the nurse assistants were sometimes just, I don't know, they were just nicer people, and in this way, better nurses, So I think that's in every profession you have, even though they are highly qualified, if they don't have the same values as you, like deadlines, like respect, like quality, then it doesn't matter what they studied actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just so much more to the work of a translator and the collaboration with an agency or a client than the certifications. So it might give you a hint, and it can give you a starting point. For example, if somebody has a certification or proven experience in oncology, for example, a certain type of oncology, and you give them work in that regard. I don't know, a study on that in that field, and they can actually perform great. You know, if you're the specification or the certification led you to a fruitful collaboration very quickly. But that doesn't change the fact that, as Sam said, those first translations, they're going to be viewed through just as everybody else's work. And if then a person cannot deliver or falls short of the expectations they have created with the certifications, that might even backfire.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, also in terms of onboarding processes, I think it is usually a plus. But as Sam said, we always have in mind, it doesn't have to mean something. It can mean, yeah, anything basically. So it's a plus because we read it and we see it and we acknowledge it. But I think every HR department, vendor manager, project manager, they're usually careful about certifications and so on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, what common mistakes should a translator definitely avoid? We had the deadlines, we learned that. I mean, that hopefully was clear before, but yeah, what else is like a really turn off for you as PMs if you like work with a translator, you just newly got into your database? Anything that comes to your mind?
Who wants to start?
Sure, go for it. We want to know them all so we can avoid them in the future, please.
I think in all of our heads we have like a lot of a long list of mistakes running through. But I mean, first of all, this really depends on language. It really depends on type of translation. It really depends on type of service. If we're talking about translation only, or proofreading, MTPE, blah blah blah. So it's always context related and service related, I'd say. And then, as you said, interaction related, because the deadline per se is not really necessarily the quality of the translation. It's more like the surroundings and the collaboration. But yeah, I think if we don't want to dive too deep into the quality thingy, because that might be a whole new call, a whole new talk show. I definitely say it's sometimes, it's deadlines, but it can also be tone. If you're new and you start to collaborate with someone, at least I have that, and I feel that somebody is being very, very, very straightforward in their communication in terms of I write I reach out to them, explain them what is math planning, what do we do, and they get back to me with 1 line or 2 lines. Hey, send me a job, please. Or hey, this is great, thanks. I think, in my opinion, that is actually a mistake, because immediately, also as a vendor manager that I am at MedPlanet, that's a minus for me. So I would consider that as a mistake, which is easily avoidable. It's easy to avoid. Yeah,
I definitely get that. Even I, with MedTalks, I have I wrote there that I'm not an agency, but I do get those DMs. Do you have a job for me? Send me a job. Just like you said, it's like, okay, do you read actually? Do you actually think about whom you're talking to? I don't give jobs, I just make talks. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Or being rude is something that is a really turn off. I had one Indian client, and they just had such a rude tone every time I wrote with them. I said, sorry, but that's not what I would like to work with. And that's the big freedom I have as a freelancer too, that I can say, no, I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. And So I get the tone issue. Anything Sam or Sebastian want to add?
I think one mistake, it's very specific, but well, not that specific. It's to basically wait too long before you get back to us, like leaving more than a half hour or an hour to get back to us about a request, because we need to be assigning tasks very quickly. And so if you don't react fast, you might lose the job.
Yeah, how is that?
Unfortunately,
Do
we
you
try to
then
avoid that.
like do you wait like 1 hour and then you say, oh, I didn't get a response, so I will write to the other one, or how do you usually work with
Well,
that?
that's the general rule, but sometimes we have to be quicker than that, and the 1 hour mark is too long, and we need to be faster than that. So in my mind, it's more like half an hour these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
But
and
that's good
I
to
mean,
know.
unfortunately, sorry if I chime in there. Unfortunately, this policy that we have, that we actually reach out to one person and then we wait a bit and give that person a chance to reply, so to say. That policy is, if compared to other agencies, probably even pretty, nice. if I'm just gonna
Very lenient.
put it simply, because you have shark tanks everywhere where people just send out requests
Yes.
for all the translators they have, and the first one to reply gets the job. And we do not follow that philosophy, so we do not have that philosophy. So, but just as Seb said, then after, I think, 1 hour latest, if we have some sort of buffer and enough time to manage, it's probably going to be 1 hour. But as Seb said, sometimes even earlier, because you just have to place stuff when clients expect you to come back in no time, basically. So even though that may sound like not a lot of time, I think compared to other agencies, that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, that's one thing I really value from MedPlanet as well. I stopped working for those shark tanks because it's just so stressful, and I think it's not fair, really. So the approach you are taking is like really, really good, I believe. And you work in the European working hours, so and I have my phone with me even if I'm not at the desk. So for me, it works.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. For our American clients, sometimes we can wait a little bit longer than an hour, because if we're doing a quote in the morning and we know the client isn't going to get back to us until the afternoon, at least 2 p.m., sometimes we have a little bit more time for the freelancer to get back to us. But still.
But I get you need to know where you're going, like, because you have to wait for the other response for the second or third translator as well. So there might be 3 hours gone. I get that completely.
Definitely. I guess it all sort of circles back to communication and collaboration in the end. And we chose to send out the requests to our freelance partners this way, again, to support and that sort of human touch. That's very important to us, and that's very much in the MedPlanet DNA. It's been from the start. So we're trying to sort of maybe offset to an extent the pressure we're getting from clients. But in order for the whole collaboration to flow, like Seb and Leon have said, well, we expect the partners we actively choose to work with to get back to us within a fairly short delay.
Yeah, as I said, I completely get that. You have the pressure from the client, and then you have the pressure from this. We have the pressure from both of you, and it has to collaborate. It has to work all together. I hear you. Well, if I would like to become a project manager myself, just in theoretically, I don't want to. Sounds too stressful for me. But maybe some other people here would like, or some other people who watch that recording would like to become a project manager. And how would you think that would be possible? what would you need to do? I mean, Leon was a translator before, and Sébastien, you all were translators before. So
Yeah.
how did you become PMs? Did you do some other studies, or was there some talent coach seeing you and saying, yes, you need to be a PM?
You've been scouted.
Yeah, precies.
Well, me personally, I joined that market research field agency, and that is how I learned how to do PMing. But I was fieldwork PMing, so a bit different than translation PMing.
Quite different.
And I think that was the same for Seb. But then when we started recruiting for the MedPlanet translation department, not to be disrespectful to PMs out there who are not translators, but it was very important for you and me to hire people who were translators, actual linguists, because I think you can sort of easily learn how to do translation, at least based on our processes, how to do translation PM. But if you're not a linguist or a translator in the first place, you can't really understand what the freelance partners you're working with go through, or their challenges and so on. And it makes things so much different. So for us, a translation project manager has to be a linguist, just full stop, just has to be this way.
And how do you find them? I saw that you are actually looking for a project manager right now. So you're giving some job opportunities on MedTalks, or do you? Not on MedTalks, on LinkedIn. Sorry. I mean, if you are looking for someone, this is your platform. You can now scream out. I will link that in the post to the video as well. But what would you tell them who would be looking at this video if they want to apply for the job?
New hires are on pause for now, but and the others can chime in, and I'll stop talking in a second, I promise. But yeah, like I said, translation, linguist background, and then the rest is there's some multitasking involved. There's ability for teamwork and following processes, which are being written out, most of them little by little now, with help from Anna, who you've worked with, Catherine.
Yeah, right.
And aside from that, the rest, I mean, we can teach in-house. It's been this way from the start. So
you do need to be able to work under pressure. Well, relative pressure, of course, but yeah, imposed by clients, not by management.
Yeah, right. I get that.
Yeah.
It does seem like that, yeah.
And you have to be willing to work extra hours sometimes when on certain projects you just can't stop at the usual end of day time. You have to keep going because clienting. Yeah. So it's actually a learning by doing. I would say, yeah, I would like to work with you. You would say, yeah, we would like to work with you. And then you teach me how to do it broken down.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a big plus if you have, it's always a big plus if you have had PM experience before joining us. And there's always going to be probably a candidate who has that to some extent. So if a person has both, they're probably going to have better chances.
Yeah, right. But everybody has to get PM
and translator experience.
There's the thing, where to start. If everybody wants someone.
Yeah, of course. That's the good old problem.
Yeah.
I actually I did an internship as a translation PM during my studies. That was basically my first experience. So the good old internship paid off.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the price that you have to pay for that is that you don't get paid that much.
Yeah,
so
really not
I
much.
was I did my internship actually in Spain in translation management. I had a great time. I met great people. It was cool for networking, so to say. And yeah, that was basically my PM kickstart, I'd say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting that you should bring up internship, Leon, because earlier this year we were looking for an in-house German linguist, mostly for bilingual revision, linguistic tasks. And we also had a couple interns, and actually having actual internship experience, kind of important, because a successful internship experience teaches the student how to work and behave in a professional environment, which you're not necessarily prepared for when you've just graduated or you've not done any internships, and it can show. We had a couple candidates like this. We had an intern like this, and where besides the so with the lack of an experience that was more resembling of actual professional work, in terms of their expectations or what they believe their expectations were, in terms of how they behaved in the environment, there was something lacking. It's just experience. So at least one internship experience is, I would say, is a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember it was pretty hard for me, my internship as a translation PM. It took me a while to get used to the details and to the work tasks that I had to do. It wasn't until I was like 3 months into the internship that I started getting my bearings straight. So yeah, it's a real plus to
Yeah,
have
it's also
that
good.
previous
It's also good for you to find out if that's something I really want to do.
Yeah.
So it's for both sides actually beneficial, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think translators and PMs require the same kind of traits and features. Like you need to be both well organized and reactive and work under pressure and be flexible. So there's a lot of qualities that a translator must have that we also look for in a translation PM. So I think in every translator can be a potential PM.
That's an interesting point of
If
view.
they're willing to do it, of course. But yeah, I think there are a lot of similarities in terms of what's expected from both jobs.
And if those internships, I wondered about that before, is that then if I would make an internship with you guys, that would be only online, right? So we would communicate via email the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or Teams via chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I kept wondering, like I did internships when I was like at school in Germany. That's just a normal part of being at school. And then I wondered, how would I do that being a linguist or being a PM? I couldn't come to France for a year and to do an internship like in person. And yeah, that actually, one more question to MedPlanet. Do you all sit in the same office? Are you all placed in the same town? How does it work? Or do you all work from home?
All from home.
We're all very international. I think we have people in, mainly in France because the company is French, but especially people in the translation department are scattered. I think I'm based in Berlin. We have our Japanese linguist in the UK, another DE, a German linguist in the UK. We have Anna, who's in Spain.
French linguist in Scotland.
Exactly, French linguist in Scotland. So, and we have our Brazilian colleague in Florianopolis, Brazil. So we are intercontinental even.
Yeah, that's great. So you go on visits every year, one visit at one country.
I hope so. Next.
That's a nice idea,
Brazil.
isn't it, Mayu?
Well, if MedPlanet pays for it or M3, it's got to be expensive. So you don't have like team events. That's one thing I miss being a freelancer, like a Christmas party all together or stuff like that, like team events. I guess you won't have that too then.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
we had one. Last we met, the whole team was in February.
Yeah, that was the whole team event last February. Yeah,
in Paris.
Yeah,
in Paris, nice.
Yeah,
to go to Disneyland.
Not really.
I wish.
Oh, yeah, I wish that too. Maybe sometime some team is going to meet there. Are you
Maybe.
guys going to be at the MedTranslate? I asked you, I think, already per email, but in Mulhouse, the big conference. Is one of you coming there?
No,
No.
What a
no,
shame.
that's not
We're
now.
not,
Not
we're not
now.
making it.
Not
What a
yet.
Too
shame.
much PM. Too much
You could-
PM work.
Too much
Yeah.
PM, yes. I get that. Oh, well, I would say thank you for today, for sharing all your insights and answering all my questions. Does anybody from the listeners, we don't have too many today, but does anybody have any questions still? Or anything you want to add?
No, just wanted to add that just comes to my mind now, but one of our revisers who reviewed one of your translations from a couple of days ago said that it was overall very good. So just wanted to point that out.
Oh, thank you. That's a nice closing. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that does well. I was very stressed. So the last days I was like, oh, hopefully the quality didn't like really suffer, but thank you.
Yeah,
all good.
I don't
All
remember
good.
the specific project, but usually I hear it's really good.
Thank you. That's how do I say? Yeah, really, really nice. Sweet. I have the German saying in my head, but anyway. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's, as I said, it's always a pleasure working with you guys. Say hi to Maren for me. I guess she's on
We will.
holiday, is she? I never heard
She
from
is.
her this
She
week.
is. Oh, is she?
She's covering for us right now.
Yeah, she's covering
Oh,
for us right
right.
now
All right.
while we're on a talk show. She's
Oh,
she's doing
nice.
double PM work.
It's the old
Well, then,
story of women working while men are on talk shows.
Here
Yeah,
we-
right.
here we go.
Those talkative men. Well, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go to my project for Leon now, and thank you very much. We will hear, read,
Thank you.
whatever. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
for having
day.
this chat.
Thanks again,
Thank you for
Catherine.
having us. Bye bye.
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 Bye.